So you have your house under contract, you're going to do a renovation loan, and it's going to be vacant, the house, for 3 to 6 months. Say you're doing a gut rehab or a major project. I'm going to tell you, you need builder's risk insurance for 1 year, and you also need home insurance. And that confuses a lot of my clients because they think it's one and the same. The builder's risk policy is going to be paid for 1 year, and it's prorated, so whatever you don't use, you get back. And then home insurance is going to be also obtained at the same time, so that when the construction's done, the home insurance policy, which is much less expensive, will take its place. Now I'm going to ask Sean, because I've walked you through that. It's very confusing to my clients. Why are there 2 different policies required when you're doing construction? Can you kind of cliff note that and explain it to my clients so that they understand the coverages are completely different?
Absolutely. So the way the process is going to work is during the course of the renovation, say you close on the home, it's now going to be vacant, like we said, for 3 to 6 months, and you're doing a gut rehab on a home, right? First thing that you need to know is that if the house is vacant, 95% of insurance companies won't cover any damage that are going to occur to the property because it's vacant and they weren't notified, right? It's a little bit higher risk for insurance companies. That's why a lot of them stay out of it. The second thing that we're looking at here then is also damage during the course of construction, right? This is where builder's risk comes into play, right? If your insurance company is not notified and you don't have the proper policy with the right endorsements, and damage occurs to your home in the middle of a renovation, it's not going to be covered with your standard homeowner's policy, right? That's why you need a specialty policy. Now, these specialty policies also come with a bunch of other coverages that may not, be extremely visible from a surface level, but we're talking about theft of building materials, right? Something that does unfortunately happen is people will go and do things like steal cabinets and countertops and copper out of homes that are being renovated because they know that nobody's going to be there in the middle of the night, right? That expense can get really fast, really quick if all the materials get stolen out of the house in the middle of the night, right? Those things are covered on a builder's risk policy. Now, what we do is while we're quoting you out for the builder's risk policy, and that's going to be the policy that we're using during the course of the renovation, what we're also going to do is we're just going to get a quote for standard homeowner's insurance, which is what we're going to need to issue out once you're done with the renovations and you're moving into the home. Now, we do this to get a pricing, to see what pricing is going to look like once we actually live in the home.
Well, and we need it because that's what we qualify you on. I'm not going to be qualifying you on a builder's risk policy. Those run anywhere from, let's call it $3,000 to $5,000, whereas home insurance is maybe $1,500 to $2,200, like you said. So I need that end policy as well. That's what I use to qualify you on your principal, interest, taxes, insurance. So I think it's super important that people understand that we will pay the builder's risk at closing, the 1 year, just like we do on the normal home insurance. Then the move-in ready policy is collected monthly so that when the work is done, we will have enough money to pay the annual premium. And this is where it gets a little tricky. What refund you get back from your builder's risk policy, you'll use to pay the balance due of the home insurance policy. So Sean walks all the clients through. The one thing I do want to mention is that you have to remember when you're finishing your project is to call, whether it's Sean or your insurance company, to let them know that they should switch it into the home insurance policy so that you can get any refund. I've had a few people not use Sean, and when they do, they've been put into 6 months policies. Those are not refundable. And if the project's not done in 6 months, then they got to get another 6-month policy. And let's say they only needed 1 more month, they still have to pay for that whole policy. So, we obviously recommend the 12-month policy because it's prorated where you can get it back.
Yeah, and there's multiple different products out in the market for builder's risk. Knowing things like, is it fully earned? Can I cancel this? Is it prorated? Is it a true builder's risk policy, or is it a homeowner's policy with a builder's risk endorsement? That all might sound confusing at first. Chat with your agent about it and get clarification. One of those options is going to be best for you. If you want to give me a call, we can run through and explain the differences on those things, because everyone is going to have a different fit.
Yeah, no, right? For sure.
So not everyone, it depends on, how extensive are your renovations? Are you, adding on an extra 3,000 square feet to a home? Or are you fully gut rehabbing it? Are you doing more cosmetic stuff where it's going to be, maybe just a month? All of these things factor into play. Talk to your agent, give them a full rundown of all the work that you're planning on doing, and then if they're qualified, should help get you the right policy.
Yeah, and I would say make sure your agent knows you're doing renovation. The biggest thing that I encounter that we have now hit head on is from day one. I tell them 95% of the insurance companies don't do this type of coverage, or they'll do like an endorsement stamp, which is still not the same as builder's risk. So people think they have more coverage than they really do. And look, I would say more goes wrong when you're doing a renovation loan than if you have a normal home insurance policy. You have scaffolding up on houses that you could have a storm and it can go into the building. There's just so much that's different with construction. That is definitely not another area where you want to skimp. I mean, I'm often just shocked when people are going to buy $1 million house and they are trying to like totally not spend money on insurance. So I just say that's not the place to cut. You want to be insured properly. You want to make sure you have builder's risk and home insurance. So I just thank you for explaining that. That's definitely been something that we come across, you and I in our renovation world doing insurance is explaining why they need it. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the builder's risk might be more expensive on the front end, but you need the coverage and it's going to go back down once you're done with the project.
Absolutely.
And you have standard homeowners insurance.
Well, and one thing he mentioned there too is when you talk to him about what the project is, if you're doing a new roof, you're doing new electric, new plumbing, all that now becomes discounted on your final home insurance policy. And I've seen some amazing policies coming out with those prices are great because everything's effectively new. And when everything's effectively new, there's much less chance for it to go wrong.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
all right.
Remember, I'm here for all your mortgage needs. While I do renovation lending, I also do move-in ready. So if you're unsure whether you want to get a fixer-upper or a move-in ready, I can handle both. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more news, market updates, and opportunities to save money.